Welcome to Manhunter Machines number 75, and another attempt of mine to win against Gorten played by Kushinada. Which does not get easier when I keep shooting myself on the foot by semi-coaching her. Today's scenario is Envelopment without reinforcements, which I wanted to play in preparation for the 5th Bunker Brawl tournament in Oberhausen that happened later that week. The full report on that, however, will come next issue. Point size today is 35, so lean back and enjoy. I won the roll-off, but I let Kushinada go first, since I intended to mitigate the Surforge deployment bonus. Gorten brought his pretty standard Bunny Turnian, 2 gunnies and a blaster, then the Driller, a maximum unit of Hawkmold Forge Guard, Ernie and John, Thor Steinhammer marshalling the Basher, and Gudrun the Wanderer, who got himself a Boker. Sorscha Xp rolled with Beast 09, the Kodiak Boris, maximum Iron Fang Pikeman with Officer and Standard Bearer, double Kayazi Eliminators, the War Dog, Madeline Corbeau, and Iris Experienced. Here's another quick shot of the board. The middle forests were placed intentionally because I normally prefer to avoid that pattern. I'll also use this short time frame to announce that, for the ease of following the report, I'll stop using the names I give my jacks in the voiceover. Round 1. Gorten hands out focus to his jacks. The Forge Guard, Blaster, Gorten, Ernie and John, Gudrun and his Boker, as well as Thor, walk forward. Thor drives his Basher. Then the Basher, Gunners and Driller run. Sorscha allocates no focus. Beast 09 and the Kodiak run anyways, thanks to their V6 heavy boilers. The Iron Fang Pikemen run into Gorten's scoring zone. Sorscha moves up, casts Iron Flash on the Pikemen and Cyclones over to the left. The rest runs. Round 2. Gorten allocates 1 focus to the Gunner at the forest. Then the Driller walks up. Ernie and John follow, with John scoring a hit on the Kodiak, taking some boxes off. 1 Gunner and the Blaster advance. Gorten moves up, casts Strength of Granite on the Driller and creates a rock wall in front of the Driller. Now onto the mess on the right. Thor moves up and tunes up the Basher's attack rolls. The Boker then charges the single pikeman at the lake, and between powerful charge and the client bonus, Iron Flash isn't enough. He goes down. Gudrun then charges right into the mess of pikemen, hoping to take a few down, but mainly to tie them up. He hits his charge target, kills him, but misses on the next attack. Now the Gunner with focus moves up and nails the pikeman in front of the Standard Bearer with a powerful shot. Next, the Basher slams into the last 2 pikemen out in front, and luckily decides to flag field first, which kills them both. Had she done that after slamming, it'd have cost me another pikeman most certainly. The Forge Guard now runs up. Great. The pikemen are a mess. The Kodiak can't get the focus due to Iris, but I eyeball all necessary distances and think that this is a perfect feat turn. Sorscha allocates 3 focus to Beast 09, drops Iron Flash, activates, casts bonus charge before she advances up, and feeds. Both Eliminator units run again. The pikemen get the charge order, kill Gudrun twice, kill the Boker, put a serious hole into the Basher, also knocking it down, and then they take up a defensive position with part of the unit in the forest. But what was supposed to be the summit of the turn, with Beast charging over the wall, smashing everything to icy pieces, ends up being merely the sideshow. I misjudged the distances, and Beast does not have the room to fully get across the wall. To add insult to injury, no matter where I place him on the other side of the wall, he does not get the Driller into melee range. What a feat fail. I walk Iris through the forest to EMP bomb the Driller and the 2 bunnies so that Sorscha neither gets shot to the face or receives a power and strength 21 punching next turn. Round 3. Gorten upkeeps Strength of Granite, allocates no focus, drops the rock wall. So first off, the Driller heavily molests Beast 09 with his initial attacks. The lone Gunner moves up a little and shoots the pikeman Diamond in the zone, but bounces off the armor. Thor moves up to the Basher, then the Forge Guard runs up to protect him. The Basher activates, forfeits action, moves up to the pikeman, and flag fields the front 2 off the board. A scattershot from John takes out another pikeman in the forest. Then Gorten goes, feeds, and shoves every enemy model in his control area 8 inches to his right board edge, and shoots another pikeman with his hand cannon. Alright, this turn will go quickly since I'm mostly incapacitated. To start things off, Madeline's intrigue kicks in and gives Sorscha a free 3-inch movement. That's a lot if you're moving at -3 speed. The warjacks ran their two respective inches. Sorscha moved, cast Cyclone, and put Iron Flesh on herself. The pikeman advanced and poked the driller. Iris and the eliminators up left ran. The eliminators down right charged into the Forge Guard. One made it to Thor, but needed both attacks for that, and the other one has to sidestep back into the zone to contest it. Round 4. Gorten allocates one focus to the downright gunner, I believe. Thor drives the basher to make it advance into contact with the eliminator. The basher then activates, flag fields, killing the Kayazi, and then slams the other eliminator in the back for free. Since it can do that, it still has a Jack Marshall bonus to boost the hit roll. The eliminator is hit and smashed against the Forge Guardian. They both die. Now the gunner walks into the zone and fires a powerful shot at Sorscha, but due to being defense 19 again, it misses. Then the Forge Guard floods the zone. The driller pays Beast some more violent attention, and it's mainly out of order. Ernie and John fire a scatter shot at Sorscha, which misses as well, and the blasts do not harm anything. The bunnies try their luck as well, but they fail to hit Sorscha or Iris. Gorten then falls back a bit and shoots up Iris with a boosted hand cannon shot, and he scores his first control point out of 3. Okay, I have 2 options basically. A. Go for Gorten. B. Commit Sorscha to the zone to avoid loss by scenario. I chose A. Madeline's intrigue moves Sorscha up. Sorscha allocates 2 focus to the Kodiak. The pikemen move in shield wall to contest the zone at its edge. The officer pokes the driller some more. Beast with a broken axe arm achieves nothing of note. The Kodiak walks up to the gunner, does the double-handed throw power attack and throws it at Gorten. Sadly, it's a few millimeters out, so the attack misses and it deviates into the blaster. Now the eliminators charge in, kill Ernie and sidestep into John. With the path cleared, Sorscha casts Cyclone and charges in on Gorten. I hit with the charge attack, but the second attack misses. And that means even with the third attack, I don't get the damage necessary to finish Gorten off. Round 5. Gorten upkeeps Strength of Granite and allocates 3 to the driller. The driller then destroys Beast on 9, and it almost destroys the Kodiak too. Then the blaster moves to catch the pikeman under his spray, but that triggers the War Dog's countercharge. It takes a good bite out of the bunny, and then returns to Sorscha's side, which will make her defense 18 in melee. Quite comfortable. John attacks the eliminator and misses. The Forge Guard charges the pikemen and takes them out. Next, Gorten attacks Sorscha, boosts to hit, and gets a critical hit. So Sorscha isn't just hit, she's also badly damaged, and she's on her face. Thor activates, uses tune-up on the basher, dialing the damage up to 11, and then drives it to move it around the forest. The basher then activates, slams Sorscha for free, and that takes her out. Gorten wins! In hindsight, as I said before, as long as I'm even semi-coaching Kushinada, I'll be shooting myself in the foot. Because there's a lot of awesomeness Gorten can pull off. Her VIP this match certainly was the basher, and Thor, both for surviving and for killing the most models throughout the game. VUP was the blaster this time. My VIP probably was Iris Experienced. The EMP bomb is just that strong and certainly saved my game. BUP, I'm tempted to say Sorscha, but her fails with the feed and stuff mainly were player mistakes. Then it's probably Beast 09. For all it did and didn't, a normal Juggernaut could have done that equally well, or equally bad. My biggest blunder is misgauging the distances and fail feeding. It'd have been better to commit Beast on its own and keep the feed for later for the assassination. Especially with Iris denying allocation, the driller would never have been able to wreck Beast, as he wasn't. And then it could have gone on. And then I'd have the feed for the assassination, which would have given me the necessary damage to kill Gorten. List changes. Well, some Winter Guard or anything shooting would be nice. But I don't have any Winter Guard yet, aside from unassembled weapon crews. So that is mainly speculation. For our follow-up program today, I'll give you another installment of Base, Body and Beyond. Enjoy! Welcome to Base, Body and Beyond, a show dedicated to giving you insights on a single model on as many levels as possible. Today's object of inspection is a well-known Khadoran solo, the Manhunter. Enjoy! So, the Manhunter, a classic. A classic which, in a way, has fallen a little to the wayside. Probably because the competition in the 2-point slot is so fierce. But if there is a model that helped establishing the fact that Khador hits hard, the Manhunter certainly had two hands in that. A single, cheap model, multiple attacks, severe damage potential, skilled enough it needs no help, the Manhunter emphasizes all the Khadoran virtues. So let's get cracking. For the model itself, you have two options. First, the regular Manhunter, the male one with muscular arms and a massive axis and that really pissed off facial expression. Second, there's the alternate female Manhunter model, which I tend to dub the Manhuntress. Look at those gentle arms and the exposed midriff. And remember, this woman still hits at PS11 and those are Armor 14 steel abs. But more on that later. My personal preference is the female model, mostly because she has more often rolled peak damage and really outright trashed enemy models than the male one. But both have had their moments, which I have made sure to, well, honor in the respective Master Machines issues. In addition, there's this model by Werner Glocke, the modeling, well, not godfather, but close. If going by prices for overseas, Gucci seems adequate. This model would need some more access to work though, but that seems a very manageable conversion to me. I must admit that I have not painted mine yet. But when it comes to the colors that I choose, I'd pick something not exactly in line with that of my regular infantry, that is the Narlock green and the steel, and then stick to more earthen colors, which I deem fitting since the Manhunters are, along with the Widowmakers, the Cossacks and the Doom Reavers, even though they are a special case, irregulars of the Khadoran army. But now it's time to crunch some numbers, like we did before. The Manhunter has very solid stats. His speed is average, but what really stands out is the melee attack score of 8. I don't know another non-character unit or solo with that level of melee prowess off the top of my head, and they outclass a great number of characters too. They also have a defense score of 14, which is the point where others might want to boost. The armor value of 14 combined with their 5 hit points does not mean a lot. They will die to a single meaningful effort. But if the dice come up short, or if you're facing low blast damage, he might get away with it once, or even twice. The heart of the Manhunter, however, lies in his hands. Hands which wield 2 power and strength 11 axes with Weapon Master. For reference, that is the same damage output which the praised Scorn Satrati have. To get to the enemy and deliver 46 on the charge, the Manhunter has a few abilities that nicely stack with each other. Advanced deployment for putting him further upfield and facing his preferred targets. Pathfinder to move unimpeded from forests, bogs and walls. Camouflage to stay safe from shooting. the shooting that gets around his strongest defensive suit, that being stealth. With all that, we have a model that wants to sneak up unhindered and wants to burst forth from the bushes, chopping something's head off. Which fits the general image the description gives us. However, it's not that easy. What is the Manhunter's preferred prey? Well, going by average dice, it should have a defense of around 15 and either armor 20 or something lower and multiple hit points. With only a standard half-inch melee range, he can't really tie up units, so he's best used to take out solos or members of multi-wound units. He could easily take out a Gorten champion on defensive formation and under the Creostone aura with his charge attack, and that would already return his points. And this is where we enter the area of what goes beyond the model, that is, the synergies it has with other models, which models support it best, and what the Manhunter should avoid. Since it is only a single model, it won't be as beneficial for you to put a model unit buff onto it, though a few would like to be mentioned here. Fury, Battlelust, Shatterstorm, those are in my opinion the three you should look out for to put on a Manhunter. In general, area buffs like Science Importance or Transference and most of the supportive feats work better with Manhunter solos, especially when they're geared for destruction. Both Butcher feats, Vladimir Experienced feat, Sorscha Experience's feat are perfect examples. Commandant Irusk's feat is redundant to the Manhunter because of his high mat. Well, not for the tough part, but for the mat bonus part. Denier feats like Sorscha's, the Old Witches or Zerkova's are good too, since they can help the Manhunter to reach his target alive. And then, of course, there's Yuri the Axe, who gives all Manhunters Tree Walker, which is just awesome. Any, and I mean it when I say any, of the Khadoran Warcasters can benefit from the Yuri Manhunter trio, even if it's just for outflanking and running interference. If you really want a lot of Manhunters, you should go with the Butcher's theme force, the Heart of Darkness, which allows you to field one extra Manhunter above field allowance for each unit you have in the army, and you will likely have 2 to 3 or more. And then there are the things that Manhunters hate. Top of the line are two things: staring down gun mages with UA because True Sight takes away all his defensive abilities, and anything Legion because Isla Sight takes away all his defensive abilities. Also massed cheap infantry it can get clogged up in, as the Manhunter has no evasion abilities, which differentiates him from the Kayazi Eliminators. Beyond that, there is nothing the Manhunter hates more than any other model Khador has access to. Let me conclude this issue by saying that the Manhunter, even when the 2-point slot got some really tough competition, especially mercenary-wise, but also in faction, the Manhunter is still a viable choice. With the way most scenario scoring works, having a 2-point model at hand to just score a point, and that has defensive ability to keep it alive around the flag when positioned correctly, it cannot be overrated. You probably just have to resist to put them at the very front lines with advanced deployment, and instead deploy them more with the rest of your force or even behind the force, so that they go from a jamming interference duty to cleanup duty. Having late game weapon masters accessible is very handy after all. And that concludes this issue on the Manhunter. For our next issue, we'll be having a post-Halloween special battle between me and Kushinada, and some further tournament coverage as I mentioned before. But until then, farewell.